everybody.
Hi, Mary Frances.
My name is Mary Frances Roush, and I'm happy to see you.
You're just happy all the time.
This afternoon, we're going to do a little irregularity in our meeting as we're having the program first. Then we're going to do something right after that, which will force you to stay for the regular meeting. I would like to introduce to you, please, Ann Kennedy, from the Licking County Library. Her title is Head of Emerging Technologies and Digital Commerce. I'm so impressed, I don't even know how that happened.
Hello, Ann. Oh, you're back over here.
I am. Briefly, because I was handing out handouts.
Ann, would you talk to us and give us lots of good information to take home?
To say it'll just depend on what I say, if it's good or not. Thank you very much for having me here today. I really appreciate the Computer Society asking me to come back. So it must have not been that bad last time, right? Now, how many people have been in this, I don't want to call it class, but presentation before, where I talked about ebooks? I was going to say, some of you all look familiar, so...
But I forgot.
Oh, but you forgot? Oh, no, I don't believe that. Like Mary Frances said, my name's Ann Kennedy. I'm with Licking County Library. I work mainly out of the main library right here, around the corner. But if you ever have any problems and you're close to one of our branches, any of the people there can help too. We all know how to download ebooks. We all know how to do the audiobooks, movies, and magazines. So don't hesitate to ask. Okay, well, let's get started because the lights went off, so we're all good. We're ready to go.
We're ready.
Okay. Do you want me to do quickly? Okay. Now, for those of you who haven't been there before, this is the library's website. It's www.lickingcountylibrary.info. Never mind. It isn't? Don't you love technology? It's always great. If you need it, it is in all of these brochures that are in front of you. So don't worry about trying to catch what I'm saying really, really fast. Right now you'll see our banner is flipping from thing to thing. Sometimes our e-content will be highlighted there, but most of the time it will be under what's called an e-content tab. It's a little hard to see on the projector, but right here where it says e-content, where my mouse is, oh, and somebody give me a laser pointer. You realize this is dangerous, right?
But guess what, Ann? You said it's kind of hard to see. We have a brand new projector, so if you can imagine how it was last month.
Oh, no, I just meant because when it gets projected on the board, it's always a little hard to read the text sometimes. But we have lots of different digital services from the library. The one that I'm primarily going to be covering today is called Overdrive. And that's the, like I said, you guys are going to regret giving me a laser pointer. It is the one right here. It primarily is used for ebooks and audiobooks, but they just added streaming video. So you can view that video on any mobile device, so any tablet, smartphone, or on your computer as well. Same thing with the ebooks and audiobooks. You can use that on a computer, so you don't necessarily need an e-reader or a tablet or a phone. Now, can everyone raise their hand if you have a smartphone? Handful of people. How about a tablet? iPad, Android, things like that? Okay. And how about computer? I hope everyone raises their hands. Okay. I'm in some classes with some people and no one will raise their hand with that. So, personally, I don't have a computer at home. I use all of my tablets for all of this stuff. Okay. So, let me get into but because we probably won't have time, and thank you all for having a slightly different meeting format because I got to book out of here, I'm just going to mention the other services briefly. So while we're here on this screen, I will show you what they look like. This one right here, it's called Freeding. It's reading with an F at the beginning. Really strange name. It is primarily for ebooks. Now, if you have a black and white Kindle, one that can't really do anything but read, unfortunately, this service is not for you. Okay? It's only for the tablets and using on a computer. Okay? And that's primarily, like I said, ebooks. If I scroll down a little bit, laser pointer. Hoopla is primarily streaming video, so that's streaming TV shows and movies. And you can also download audiobooks and music from it. So that one's really cool. We just added it. I really like the collection that's in there. The One Click Digital, it is audiobooks you can download. Because this one and this one are competitors, they sometimes have different content in them. So some publishers have said, oh, I'm going to sell to this one and maybe not that one, and vice versa. So sometimes if you're looking for a book, you might want to check both places. And then, and as much as I would love to cover this, we're not going to really have much time, but it's my favorite service, Zinio. That one is downloadable magazines that you can get from the library. So rather than paying for a magazine subscription for yourself, you can just get it from us. And it also doesn't matter what time of day or night you'd be checking it out. You can, 2 a.m. if you're up, you could download a magazine. Okay. But like I said, let's cover Overdrive. Now, of course, this is the problem with live demonstrations. Look, it's loading. It's loading. It's great. So I just need some hold music in here and a little dance. Okay.
I think maybe you didn't click on it.
I did.
It's gone.
There we go. Sooner or later, I do it, right? This is what's called the Ohio Digital Library. Now, those of you who have used this service before might remember it was called SEO Library Consortium.
Oh, yeah.
We've joined with the Ohio, what did they call it? The Ohio eBook Project, which was centered around the State Library of Ohio. So think of it as this really big group of libraries and this really big group of libraries. We all joined together and said, hey, let's use our resources wisely, and everybody shared. So we're actually the largest state consortium in the country, Ohio, good old Ohio. And so we're now called the Ohio Digital Library. If you already have an app installed on your mobile device and this site bookmarked, it will automatically redirect here. Just to let you know. But like I said, if you've seen that site before, this looks pretty familiar. This site, like I said, has ebooks, audiobooks, music, and videos. Music works on the computer, does not work on any of the mobile devices. Just a little FYI there. Now, looking at this first row of books, does anybody notice what's in the little upper right-hand corner?
Yeah, it's a book.
It's a book? Yep. I'm going to scroll down and show you something else.
Does audio, if you want to listen to music, does it go away too in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depending on what the length of time you've rented it?
Yes, but I'll cover that in just 1 second. Okay, so before, where it was a little ebook in the corner, you notice the audiobook has a little headset. Video has what looks like kind of, if you squint at it a little bit, it looks like a film strip. Okay. So if you're just looking quickly at the items that are in this catalog, take a look at the upper corner and it'll tell you what format it is. So, you know, sometimes if you want to read, but the only copy that's available is an audiobook, you might get surprised by seeing, oh, well, it's only available like that. Let me scroll up here. Because I'm going to do ebooks for everybody. Is anybody madly interested in audiobooks? Okay, let's cover the ebooks instead. Back up to the top. If you're in a real hurry and don't want to browse around a lot, there's a search box up here where I can type in the name of the author or the name of the book. Anybody have a favorite author?
Ann Rivers.
Okay. She said Ann Rivers. It's O-N, right?
I don't know, S-I-D-D, O-N-S, E-N-S.
Well, we'll see.
They'll know. It'll
Yeah. Thankfully, it figured it out a little bit faster than I did with my spelling. As it's loading. Now, I typed in an author's name up there in the search box. That will return everything in here that is written by this author. Okay? So that includes both these audiobooks and the ebooks. Now, does anybody notice something different than the first page that we looked at?
Libraries.
Ah, they said some of them are gray, some of them are black. I can tell you, looking at these, the first two on the left are checked out, but the other two on the right are checked in. Okay. So, if you're wanting to read something right now, look for something that's black. Okay. Makes it really easy. Does anybody else notice something that's strange about these covers? I'll give you a hint. You see that? Okay. The little A with the check mark in the corner. I am seeing that because I haven't logged in with my library card. Now there's some content in this catalog that I've just bought for Licking County people. Okay? So those really popular titles, for instance, like the James Patterson titles. Well, if I just put my copy in the consortium, you'd be competing against this whole big group of library subscribers. Okay? But what I've done is I said, well, we're going to set some aside for just Licking County people. That's called an Advantage collection. So that's why it has the little A there. In order to get rid of that, I'm going to sign in with my library card first. Okay? Because this book might be available for us here in Licking County. But for the group as a whole, it looks like it's checked out for everybody else. Now, there are some authors that are in this catalog that only show up as Advantage collections. Because the publishers have said, you can only buy this as an individual library, not as a consortium or a group of libraries. So what we really recommend, log in first. Okay. Let me do that. So I'm going to click where it says sign in. And then it's going to go. It's going to go. While it's doing that, the next screen that will pop up will say choose your library. Now, if you're looking for Newark Library or Emerson Library, Utica, Johnstown, all of that, not going to find it. You have to look for Licking County Library System. Okay. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to scroll down. And if you just glance at this list, you can see how many different libraries are in here.
Is Ross County in there?
Let's see.
Is Mansfield up there?
It might be. 1 second. It doesn't look like Ross County. What was the other, Mansfield?
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. But we're going to look for Licking County right now.
Ross was on there, but it was with Chillicothe.
Oh, Chillicothe Ross. Okay. that explains it. I can never remember the naming of everybody. So I'm selecting Licking County Library System. Now, I don't know how everybody feels about saved passwords, but unless you're willing to either have your library card written next to your computer at all times or taped to your tablet, I personally love this little remember my login information because it's a 14-digit card and you have to remember that. Now, I'm weird because I have at least 3 up here and I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but
They're all the same.
of course I'll say that and then I'll just type it in front of all of you.
That's what, yeah.
Okay.
Dash link. Link. Yeah.
Okay. I hope I didn't type it wrong. Okay.
Back of Windows.
Do you see those A's disappeared?
Is it one word?
They went away, but this one's still checked down.
Yeah.
Okay, so it does not look like the copy that we have is available. Now, all of you might be wondering, wait a minute, why is there one checked out? Why aren't they always available? Well, what we're doing is we're buying one license, one book. Okay, so in order so the authors, publishers, everybody like that is able to make money, I'm buying one copy. Okay. Other libraries in this group might have bought other copies, but if they're all out, unfortunately you have to get on the wait list. Okay. Let me click on that real fast. Now I've just hovered my mouse over this item. You see it says place hold. It also says sample. So for instance, if this is an author that you've never read before, it will kind of give you a little idea of, oh, I like this person, or this isn't for me. There's also a little, what looks like a bookmark. That is to add something to your wish list. For instance, you don't want to check it out right now, you don't want to put it on hold, but you don't want to forget it. You can add it to your list. Now this, is anybody familiar with that shaped button?
Share.
That is a share, yep. I like teaching to this group because most people are like, what? That's where you could share it on Facebook, Twitter, any other social media. Like, hey, I'm reading this book. I have never used that. So take it with a grain of salt. Now, for instance, if this book is one that you've never read before, but you kind of want to, like picking a physical one up, read the back of it, see if you'd like it, that's where I would click where it says more. So let me click there. Okay. And that will give me additional information.
Just about the author or about the story itself?
About this story itself. She asked, will this show information about the author? It's primarily designed for information about this title. Okay. So a brief summary here. If I click on more, it will give me even more. Depending on the title, it might even give you a first chapter. Okay. So like some of those, you've opened a book and browsing through it. Something to tell you about the formats. It says available formats. There's a Kindle book, Overdrive Read, and Adobe EPUB. Now, for those of you who had Kindle Fires, which thing do you think you can use?
Kindle book.
Kindle book? Yes. But that was a little bit of a trick question because you could also use Adobe EPUB. For those of you with computers, you can use Overdrive Read and Adobe EPUB. Now, what other devices have I forgotten? Oh, smartphones, tablets. Don't know how I forgot that. For those devices, you can use this Adobe EPUB. Okay. Those formats are really confusing. If you're viewing this on a device, if there's a certain format that you couldn't use with that device, you wouldn't see it up here. I picked a bad example for that because any mobile device would be able to use any of these formats. Something interesting with Overdrive Read, I never used to use this, but they added it maybe a year ago. I use it all the time now. What it is, you can browse the book in your browser. So you can read it just in an internet window. You don't have to download it. You don't have to do anything like that. But Overdrive will remember where you were, and then it'll open to the page where you were. So I kind of like that because it's a whole lot faster than downloading. Now the next section underneath the formats, it has subjects. So for instance, this is a fiction book. It lists under fiction literature. You can sometimes use those subjects to find similar books. Okay? For instance, if it's a mystery, it would be under suspense and mystery. You click on that, see everything in the catalog that would be suspense and mystery. Yes?
Are ebooks as expensive as actual physical books?
He was asking about the price of ebooks versus the price of physical books. Actually, some ebooks are more expensive because what will happen is certain publishers say, okay, we're going to put no limit to the use on this. So, at Random House, one ebook might cost me $85. But that is no strings attached. I can lend that as many times as I want to lend to all of you. So, you know, I could check it out 100 times and there'd be no problem. Other publishers, whose prices are a whole lot less, tell me, I will only let this book check out 26 times. So for instance, sir, if you're the 25th person and you wanted to check it out next as the 26th, be fine. But if she tried to check it out as the 27th and I haven't bought a copy of that for the library system, she wouldn't be able to get that book. Okay? Yes, sir.
Yeah, in regards to his question, I think you're interpreting his question from the standpoint of the library
Oh.
and the library purchasing these books.
Uh-huh.
Correct? But I don't know whether that's what he meant or whether he's talking about as an individual.
Oh, you mean as an individual consumer, price of the ebook versus price of the physical book?
Either way, if there's a difference.
Well, there's a
Okay,
difference. Yes,
there is, because that, all the other stuff about the publishers and whatnot was from my standpoint as the library, but from the standpoint of the individual, just depends, because sometimes they'll have really great sales on digital books. So for instance, you could get them for free or for just, you know, a couple bucks. They do try to have it very close in price for individual consumers.
Yeah, I've noticed if you go out to Amazon.com and look for books, the e-versions are usually less than the printed.
Yeah. He was just saying that he notices when he goes to Amazon, occasionally it will be less in price for ebooks. And that is very true. And like I said, you can usually get deals from the different publishers. Now something else here, it says copies. Remember, this book is out, so it says copies available is 0. Okay. But it says there are 2 library copies. So again, that could be Licking County Library bought one and some other library bought one. This isn't one of the super hot books right now, but there are things that I've bought multiple copies of. For instance, the James Patterson, the Fault in Our Stars, books like that. Then underneath it, this line only shows up if there's a hold. If this book were to be available, it wouldn't say, excuse me guys.
That's right.
I just updated everything. Stop it. That would not show up and say 0 patrons on hold. Okay? That line just wouldn't even be there. Right now you see there are 11 people in line. When this book were to be available, it will send you an email that says, hey, your copy's in, come and check it out. 1 second, sir. Or, when you put it on hold, you can tell it, automatically check it out for me, so you don't lose that hold. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I've gone on vacation and haven't checked my email for 3 days. Got a book in, had to put myself back on hold because I never checked it out. So like the physical items, if you don't come and get it, it goes to the next person in line. 1 second. You had a question, sir?
Yeah, you say you buy these books and you have them available. So as a library person coming in there to get the books, do you have to pay for a copy of it to read it?
He was asking, what is the cost to you? You're not paying anything when you come in here to check out any of these books. Okay? Thankfully, with all the different levies and things like that, you guys have already paid. So you're good to go. But you probably, okay, there we go. But you might be looking at that little green button that says buy it now. You don't have to click on that. We have to have that on here as libraries in order to get some publishers to sell to us. They want you to have the option of buying right from this catalog. But if you never want to click on here, you don't have to. Okay. So there's no entering a credit card, nothing like that here. Yes?
What is the limit of time you can check out a book that way?
I will get to that in just 1 second. She just asked about the limit of time, and I will cover that in just 1 second. I don't want to lose your question.
Well, what about classics? Or something that's been out for no longer in physical print?
He's asking
Your
about
okay?
He's asking about books that are in the public domain or have been out for so long that the copyright laws are passed now, or the copyright restrictions are passed. There are items in this catalog that do have that, but because of the way the catalog's set up, it might say that there's only one copy available. But those are usually ones that have been purchased with slightly different rules. There is a different section I can show you where the copies are always available. Okay. She just asked about limits and how long you can have things out. You can check out 10 titles at a time from here, be that movies, audiobooks, ebooks, or you could get just 10 ebooks. You can also get those out for 21 days. Okay, so 10 items, 21 days, and you can return things early. Okay. For those of you who took this class before, do you remember me saying that you couldn't renew? Does that sound familiar? That's no longer true. They've changed that. They've listened to the different people using this and said, we want renewals. So, if an item doesn't have a hold on it, just like one of those physical books, you can renew this title. So say it's taking you a little bit longer than that 21 days to read it, you can go in and extend your time. Now what happens if you don't extend your time? So 21 days have been up. 22nd day, I go in to try to read that book.
Disappeared.
Got it. It has disappeared. It's gone. I have been reading in a bus 30 minutes, reading madly, flip the page, and it was gone. I was so mad.
Why is it that when you download a book on your MP3 player, it never goes away?
She just asked about a loophole. She asked, what happens with the audiobooks that you download and put onto your MP3 player? The reason I'll give you is, why those don't disappear in 21 days? I'll tell you this, it's because they aren't smart devices. Thank you, sir.
Oh.
The MP3 player, you know, like one of those little tiny Sansa clips, it doesn't have an internet connection, so it doesn't know, hey, it's time to get rid of this. So if you all want another loophole, and maybe we should turn off the recording for this.
edit.
Yeah, major edit. If you would want to get around those restrictions, for instance, my parents just were hiking in northern Spain and Mom wanted to have her library books on her e-reader for longer, she just turned off her Wi-Fi. Then it didn't have the ability to know, hey, my 21 days are up. But the time when she turned the Wi-Fi back on and, you know, plugged it back into her computer, it knew what time it was, it knew what day it was, and her books disappeared. So that's just a little tiny loophole there. Now, I've been talking about this book that's checked out. Good God. I can tell it's also checked out, even if this wasn't grayed out, by this place a hold button. Okay? That tells me, oh, well, I have to wait for a little while to get it. In order to put it on hold for myself, though, I will click on there. And I enter my email address. Okay? If you've done this, if you've put a book on hold before, it will remember your information. And you see where it says underneath here, automatically borrow this title when it becomes available. I'm starting to leave that checked because I don't want to miss my books. And I'll just click place a hold. Okay, and it's telling me you'll receive an email and you'll have 3 days to check it out. Like I said, if you didn't have that little checkbox selected, if you don't get it within those 3 days, it's gone. Let's go out and try to find a book that is in, and I'll show you the checkout process with that though. Now, is everyone familiar with the 3 lines, 3 parallel lines, meaning menu? You're starting to see this pop up on a lot of different websites, like that, or up here. That gets me further information. So when I click on menu, this drop down appears for the different genres I can select. Okay. This one here is all ebook fiction. So if I'm looking for anything I want to listen to, I'm in the wrong category. It's also separated it all into fiction. Over here is nonfiction. It's kind of giving me a top 3 biography, business, true crime in the nonfiction section. If I click on view more, it shows me additional categories for instance, this nonfiction. Maybe. Well, it'll load. So you see it says all nonfiction, biography, business, true crime. There it goes. Anyone familiar with the TV series, Boardwalk Empire? Okay. So these are different genres of nonfiction. There's also a computer section, I know. If I scroll down, computer technologies right here. Of course, if you're using one of these guides, sometimes it's like open the box with the crowbar inside. So you need to know how to use the device to use this stuff. But there are a lot of manuals like this in the collection. Okay. So for instance, let's check out this iPad. Does anyone notice something different than the first book we were looking at? I will give you a hint right here. It says borrow instead of place a hold. So if I click on the more, which I don't necessarily have to check out, but just to show you. Okay. See down here it says copies available 5 and library copies 5. Okay. It doesn't have that little number of people in what line because these are all available. So to check out, all I do is say borrow, and it's checked out to me. That's it. It's all checked out.
What if you change your mind?
Huh? She said, what if you change your mind? You don't like this title.
Right.
See where it says return? Return title? This button will only be there until you download that book somewhere. Because then once you download it, for instance, to a tablet or your computer, you then have the ability to return it early on that device. I saw a hand. Yes, sir.
Yes, will that synchronize with your iPad, your computer?
He asked-
your e-reader?
He asked, will this sync with whatever device you're using? Once I have it checked out, will the other device automatically know it's out? Unfortunately, no. Fortunately, no. When you log into this site on those different devices, this title will be there, but then you have to take a further step to do something to that. Okay. So unfortunately, library books are not quite like Kindle books where you do one thing and then Amazon tells it to all the different devices you have. You just have to do one or two more steps for free things. But remember how I talked about Overdrive Read? That's this button. I love this button. This is great because I can just start reading. I don't even have to download anything. Go! Of course, it takes a little while right now. That's all right. It's better than the one day I was teaching a class and our Wi-Fi network entirely went down. That was a lot of fun. It was like, well, if you could see the board, it would look like this. This first screen here, this happens the first time you open one of these Overdrive Read books. It's just telling you how to use it. But this is talking like you're on a device. So you're on an iPad, you're on something that has a touch screen. So if your computer at home does not have a touch screen, just ignore these instructions. But we can also either hit close and just go on and click around until something happens, or you could click on next and it'll show you some further information. Whenever you click, this is just telling me some more information, like you can select text and you can click on the book for more information. Now remember, this is just what I'm doing in my browser, so while I'm connected to the internet. I can skip around to different chapters here. Let's say, oh, I don't want to read chapter 1, I want to get straight to iPad Basic Training. I click on that chapter 2 and it'll open there. Bookmarks and highlights. That's, for instance, if I said, oh, hey, I really like chapter 5, this page on chapter 5, I want to remember that. I will bookmark it. That means I can flip to it really quickly. Just like a physical bookmark. Digital bookmarks are the same thing. I can search for specific terms in this book. So I type it in here and hit go. I can also, excuse me while I switch the page to some text. Maybe. Okay, that's good enough. Is this text okay to read?
No.
No? Thank you. I'm going to take this text scale and move it up. So much, much better to read. So you can do this on your computer at home. You could also do a similar thing on a mobile device. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to beat something else to death. If I bookmark a page that I wanted to remember, and then I gave back that book to the library. And then 3 weeks later, I checked it out again, and I really wish that I could find that photo, page 53. Would it know that I was there, that I had bookmarked it?
She's asking about what happens to bookmarks when a title gets returned and then checked back out. Honestly, I can't tell you yes or no, because sometimes it's worked for me and other times it hasn't.
Okay.
It's one of those things. If it is a Kindle book, it has remembered it for you under Kindle auspices of Amazon. But if it's any of the different formats, I haven't found a consistent, yes, it always remembers it, or no, it doesn't always remember it.
Don't use any more of your time on that, I'm just curious.
Yep. Okay. So, we covered text scale under the readability. There's also lighting. Now, how many of you might read this, in bed? Like, for instance, I might take an iPad and be reading whatever story I'm reading. Well, that white background can be a little hard to see when the light goes off and your spouse is going, turn that off. You can make it go, oh, I see some beating on the shoulder there. You can make it easier to read at night. I can click this side, it's hard to see up here, but this side looks like a little sun with a little city. This side is a moon. It changes the color of the screen here to black. It's a whole lot easier to read at night. Yes, sir.
Will that do it with any old reader, like a $79 reader?
He's asking, will that happen on any device, like one of the little Kindle black and white e-readers that just do reading? Yes.
Good.
Any of those devices already have the night and day features built in. So, well, excuse me, I lied. I do. Because the black and white e-readers, they don't have this. What they have usually is a glow light. Sorry, I was thinking of tablets. Any of the tablets do already have this built in. The e-readers are just like reading, a print piece of paper. If it's dark in here, I can't read this without some extra light.
I have light and magnifying glass.
Light and magnifying glass, you said? Don't forget about bumping the text size up. Okay. Legible. I personally never tweak this around just because for me it's not that much of a difference, but it might be for you. Does anyone really notice a difference once I clicked legible?
It got fuzzy.
Got fuzzy?
Didn't it? It was pretty good.
I mean, personally, I don't find much change with this, but
The focusing went to sharp.
got sharper, okay. So you can tweak it around a little bit. You can also, if I click on this arrow, you can change it to this kind of font. This kind of font. I don't know why you'd want this one. I tend to just leave it under legible. But for you, play around with it. There might be something that works better for your eyes. What I love about e-readers and all of these different services, there isn't regular print versus large print anymore. You can bump this up as much as you want. So for instance, when I take my glasses off, I'm very close to legally blind. Not quite yet, but getting close to that. So I bump my font up as big as I can get it to read without my glasses. I put them back on and I make it almost as small as I can get it, just so I'm not changing the pages as fast. So that's what I love about these books. You can make it the way you want to read it. Instead of the physical, you're bound a little bit by print limitations. Okay. But did everyone see this little section here, Your Book Everywhere? I can press download. It's prepping it. And when it's finished, I could take this laptop outside, no longer have my Wi-Fi connection, and I could read it. So that's all I had to do. It's in the process. This is why I like Overdrive Read so much. 1 second, sir. They are getting ready to go to something that's called I don't know if this is their official name, but they've told us unofficially, a multi-format book, which means I could be reading this ebook using this Overdrive Read format. I could press stop, open my phone, press play. It would pick up right where it is in the audiobook version. I could say stop on that, pull out my e-reader, start reading on the ebook where I was just finished on the audiobook. So, I could go from reading to listening, doesn't matter. That's coming soon. I can't tell you how excited I am for that, because my commute will go a lot faster and then I'll be able to pick up right where I was in the ebook. That's why this format is great. And it's continuing to go. Oh, I'm probably not going to let it finish its download just because I don't really have to.
All this information is in Overdrive, or is it in each individual reader?
Okay. She's asking, is all of this information, do you mean the...
Like how you set up all your...
The font?
Yeah, fonts,
Dark.
yes, in case you want to change it, or somebody else wants to read the same book on the same reader.
Okay.
Is that in Overdrive, or is that in the device itself?
She's asking, is the text formatting and all of that sort of formatting, is that device specific, or does Overdrive have it? Yes and no. Sometimes with these things, it's always a yes or no.
That's a simple question.
Oh, you'd think, but no, not really. Most mobile devices right now will have all of these capabilities built in. But like those black and white e-readers, those ones don't have this in.
So it's device.
It's a little bit device specific, but if you're reading it on your computer, it's all built in here. Okay. Even if your computer doesn't have that functionality of making the screen do that black screen, this website will. Okay. Oh, it's almost finished. Well, we might wait another second or two. Hold music. Yes, ma'am.
We know that our code number for that is on the back of our library card, but where do we get our PIN number and how?
She's asking about the sign-in process. The library card number is on the back of your card. Enter that with no spaces. But she asked about the PIN. How do you get the PIN? You set it up when you got the card. That is the tricky part. You can call in and we can double check it and give it to you. It's 4 numbers that you picked when you got the card. So some people, when I say that, can pretty much guess what it was. A lot of people did 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 second.
It's not like the Columbus library system where the last, Columbus library system, the last 4 digits of the phone number or normally the PIN.
Right, no. Our system, we let you pick. The Columbus system automatically did the last 4 of your phone number. Granville Library, last 4 of your phone number. But Licking County, we let you pick. And so sometimes that's a little dangerous. Yes, sir.
Did you change that?
Yes. He asked, can you change your PIN? Yes, you definitely can.
Is there a, what is it called, profile or something?
Yes, not under this website, but it is under the library's physical book catalog. You can do that. I'll show you in a minute. Yes.
Okay, now that you've got to here, I know that Mary Frances is going to ask the question, but I'm going to jump ahead of her, because she knows, like I know, a lot of people are saying, where did it go?
Yeah.
Where did you download it?
Good question, because I've only done that on a tablet. Let's see.
Where did it go, John?
Yeah. I do have to download it.
She don't know, she don't know.
Yeah, we're going to see. no, it's not gonna do that.
Might be in the browser settings where it downloads stuff for
Right.
Google, for Chrome.
That or when I click on the read button again. See, when you're on a tablet, you can save it to your home screen and it will remember what page you are when you open it the next. Oh, look, it remembered where I was. So to tell you honestly, I have no clue where it saves.
It's still on the internet.
Yeah, it's still on the internet. I couldn't take it off, but it might take it a little while to reconnect. But when I click on that read button again, it will automatically open it. Also, if I don't close this browser when I leave, I will be able to continue progressing in these pages.
There it is, Ken.
The kitchen. Oh, the title is The Kitchen Sink. That's a really bad fun. But so if I don't close this tab, I will be able to continue with the pages, even if I walk out the street and lose my internet connection, because we've now saved this book to the computer. Who knows where? It's not that big of a file. I usually am okay with it. I'm okay with one thing. People are like, Okay. I'm going to go back to the library tab. The process for checking out an audiobook is exactly the same. Only thing is, this download format will be different. If you're on a tablet, your option will say MP3 or WMA. That's just two different types. For those of you with smartphones and tablets, the MP3 is the way that you want to go, and that will be your only option. For those of you with little MP3 players, the little dumb players, WMA or MP3 work. WMA is just an older format that they are doing away with in order to make the MP3 more user-friendly. Okay. Audiobooks do take a little bit longer to download, okay, because you have so much more file information than an ebook. An ebook download takes, on a really, really fast connection, a couple seconds. Audiobook might take a minute or two. Such a wait. It's such a wait. If it takes longer than 5 minutes for your audiobook, something is probably wrong with the internet connection, and you might have to go through the process again. But it should not take longer than like 2 minutes. Did I hear a question back here?
No.
Oh,
Or 10.
or 10, yes. Let's say, because right now I'm in my account, looks like a little bit of a person there. If I wanted to see what books I had on hold and where I was in line, I could just click there. And see, this is that book that I did before. It tells me I'm user 12 out of 12. Sometime in a long time, I'm going to get this email, and I'll have forgotten I put this on hold in class. They're like, what are they emailing me for? If I click on this options, I can edit my email address. Let's say I entered it wrong. I can double check and fix that there. This suspend hold is a new feature. If you go on vacation and you don't want to pick it up, for instance, it comes in when you're gone and you can't get it. If I click on suspend hold, I can enter a date range that says, if this book becomes available during this time, I don't want it. I want you to keep me in line, but I just don't want it right now. Did you all know you can do this with the physical books too? Just something, a little tidbit for you. If you're on vacation and you can't come and get it, do our suspending holds either in the digital format or the physical format.
Is that even if they got to go out of the area to get a book for you?
Yes. He asked, Does the suspending a hold apply even if you're getting the physical book from a different location? It does apply. And what it does is it just kind of moves things around and makes you the next person in line until that date. You know, let's say I said, I'm gone until Friday. If it comes in on Saturday, it'll go to me then. There's this auto checkout. Remember that little checkbox that said, hey, when it comes in, check it out to me? There's also remove hold. So let's say you change your mind, you want to get rid of it, you can do that. The reason why the remove hold is there is because you can only put 12 items on hold at the same time. Now that might sound like a lot, but for instance, I was reading a series recently, and so I checked out the whole thing in all the series, and I could suddenly no longer put anything else on hold. Okay. Sometimes these numbers, I'm 12th in line for this, sometimes the numbers can be pretty big, but if I have bought a copy for Licking County Library, your wait time might be a little bit less, because it would then try to put you further up in the list with that one item. It's a little hard to tell you, oh yes, it'll be 2 months until you get this. Well, it might not be. Plus, if people return it early, you'd be able to check this book out just that much faster. Yes, sir.
I know, supposing you enjoy this author, can you put a hold on any new books he's going to have whenever they come out a new book? Hold it for you when it comes in?
No, but that would be a genius idea. He was asking if an author has a new book out, can it automatically put you on hold for that? No, but I'm going to request that. Because, you know, it's so hard to keep track of some authors. Like James Patterson has one out every 2 or 3 months. It's hard to keep track, but I'll suggest that. Unfortunately, it's not available right now. Okay. Lists. This is if you had any on that wish list that you wanted to remember but you didn't want to check out right now. Settings. Honestly, I've never clicked on this. This is where you can alter how long things are out. So let's say you read an ebook in 2 days, you can make your lending time shorter. Well, I don't even mess with that. I just return the book early versus tweaking with my reading settings. Yes, sir?
Presumably these are the default settings.
He's asking, are these the default settings? Yes, they are. And it'll always be on these. Oh, I didn't realize videos for 5 days. Interesting. Videos do go out shorter lengths of time than the ebooks because, you know, you're probably watching them a lot faster than you are reading them. Any other questions with these? Okay, I've talked a lot about computer versus mobile device. With this, if you have a mobile device, it really makes sense to download the app. The app, and that's in the paperwork in front of you, is called Overdrive Media Console. Okay. If you have one of those smart devices, so the iPad, Android tablet, smartphones, there are a few steps you have to jump through right now. There's something called an Adobe ID that you have to register your device with. These handouts do go through that whole process because it's a little complicated to explain. Unfortunately, probably in another month, they're doing away with that process, but you aren't learning that right now. You're learning it, today. So today, you still have to go through getting an Adobe ID. In September, you'd probably be fine. If you're thinking, hey, I already have Adobe on my computer,
Yes.
not this software. This is another piece of software from Adobe. It is called Adobe Digital Editions. That is what you use to read ebooks. To find that software to install on your computer, I'm going to come back up to this menu, Account. See where it says Help? I'm going to click on that and go. This help section is fabulous. So if you ever come to something that says, it's like, I don't know what I'm doing at this point, can't remember what she said in class, can't find the handout because personally I put it in the bottom of a bag somewhere. If you click on here, they really help you a lot. It will ask you a couple questions like, are you using a computer? Well, are you wanting to do ebooks, audiobooks? And it will really tailor the answers that it gives to your situation. Maybe. Go. It's always fun. It's always fun.
Or you can leave us your home number.
For those of you who didn't hear her, she said, or you can just give us your home number. I would give you my office number. But see, here's where it's having you select exactly what you're doing. Then, like I said, it tailors it to what you're doing on your computer, on your device. And those answers will be specific to what you're downloading. Okay. Well, let's come back to the catalog. So everyone see where it says applications. Now this is probably old hat for all of you, but I always tell this to my classes that aren't as tech savvy. They're trying to use the word applications to be synonymous with software. Okay? So when it says applications, this is software that you would install on your computer. Okay? Let me click there. Okay, now does everyone remember what I said the app is called?
Digital Editions.
Yes, exactly. On the mobile devices, everything is covered under this Overdrive Media Console. On your computers, that is only for videos, music, and audiobooks. So everything that's sound. If you're reading ebooks, you want to download the Adobe Digital Editions. Okay? That's where it gets a little confusing. Not going to lie to you. They're going to be doing away with this needing to have two sets of software, but that hasn't happened yet. They keep telling me it's coming. It's not quite here. The handouts that are in front of you, though, will take you through all the steps of downloading that software and setting it up to use with the library books. That is actually the hardest part, not going to lie to you. If you ever want to say, I don't want to mess with this, and you have a laptop, bringing the desktops a little bit harder, though we do have people who do that. Feel free to bring in your laptop to my department and say, help. We are more than willing to help you with it. You can either set up a time with us or just drop right in. It might be a little busy, but we have people who will come in with their devices still shrink wrapped. They haven't even taken it out. It's like, dump it on the table and go. Do something. We can help you. We can definitely help. I'm sorry, I heard muttering.
Oh, that was me.
Oh, that was you? I can see the peanut gallery right there.
I'm just saying that my reader's too old. It's a little $79 black and white reader. Probably wouldn't have all that stuff on it anymore.
It can do it. That can do it. He's saying he doesn't think his reader is new enough. It probably will work.
My iPhone's a 3G, if you ever remember them.
Yep.
They got 4 or 5, and I don't know, they got 6 or 7.
6 is coming out. 6 is September 7th. Not that my contract is almost up. Yes, Mary Gretchen?
Ira's trying to get this on the recorder so his wife will know what he wants for Christmas.
Oh! So you're gonna play this, make sure she plays it. I see. Like I was saying, if you want help, feel free to drop in. I'm going to relay our phone number. It is on the back of all of these handouts in that further help section. So if you don't get a decimal or a numeral, don't worry. Our desk number is 740-349-5581. And if you call there, either the person at the desk can walk you straight through it if it's an easy problem. If it's not, you might have to set up a time to come in and we'll be able to help. Okay? We love doing this. It's just playing with toys for us. So don't feel like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing with this tab. No, we love that. And we love showing people how to use their devices. That was a quick little run through of everything like that. Like I said, there's so many other services that I love. The one that is on this orange, this is all about the downloadable magazines. It can be done on your computer or it can be done on tablets. I gotta tell you, this is optimized for the iPad. It just looks gorgeous. Yes, sir.
Will that give us access to magazines that might not be in the library, like art magazines or something like that?
He asked, does this give us access to different magazines that are not in the library? Sometimes yes. For instance, all of you know Newsweek went completely digital a little while ago. We have a copy here in Zinio. There are sometimes other subscriptions that aren't available as print form that we might have. Also, if you ever see a copy of something, we don't really need it, but I kind of need the light. You can contact me and say, hey, can you look into getting this magazine? And I'll see if it's available for the library system. Same thing with any of the ebooks that are out there. If you ever see a title and you say, hey, I want to see if that's available, let me know, and I can see if we can buy it for you. Well, not you, but the system, you. Now, the orange, again, was magazines. I love that service. You've got to see it on an iPad. National Geographic. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yes, sir.
Are magazines also downloaded on a temporary time frame or?
He asked, are magazines downloaded in a temporary format? So kind of like ebooks, the ebooks go away. Do the magazines? No. You can keep the magazines for however long you want. You can have however many you want checked out at the same time. No limit of 10. So, only thing with magazines, when there's a new issue in, you have to go and check that one out. So you kind of have to double check each month. Okay. Like I said, I wish I had more time to cover that, but I gotta run. The pink handout that I gave everyone, this covers Hoopla. This is our newest service, excuse me. It is streaming, so a bit like Netflix streaming, not like getting the discs in the mail, just being able to watch it online. Streaming, oh, I forgot to give you one. He's holding one up going, wait a minute. Sorry about that. You guys are good? This is streaming movies and TV shows. These do have limits of how many you can get out per month. The limit is 10 per month. And there are different loan periods. The movies and TV are 3 days. Music is 7, and audiobooks are 21. Okay. Same thing as the overdrive. If it reaches that, the day, 4th day for that movie, it's gone. You can check it out again, but you can't watch it right then. Okay. This looks a lot like Netflix, if you've seen it online. You can watch it on the computer, watch it on a mobile device. Do keep in mind, if you're streaming these and you're using a data plan, video eats up a lot of data really quickly. So it is best to watch in a Wi-Fi setting if you have a tablet or on your computer where you're hooked in. Sorry I couldn't cover it all. It is so much information. But does anybody have any questions?
I do have one. Is Value Line in digital format?
I'm sorry?
Value Line.
Value Line? I honestly can't tell you. I know we have a website with it. A competitor, Morningstar, we have as a digital only format, but I don't know about Value Line.
Okay.
I would have to look more into that. She was asking about a database that's available, if it was available as a digital format. Any other questions?
Let me have that last picture.
Oh, I forgot to give her a big one too. Did I miss anybody else? Any more? Oh, I see some people who came in late. Thank you all for having me. If you have questions, feel free to come in. Like I said, we love doing this. And it's fun. It's just playing with devices. So when you bring them in, it's like a kid in the candy shop for all of us. So if you have questions, call or come in. We're more than willing to help. So thank you all.